morning. Done with the morning walk. Feels good. Did a couple of places around here, but anyhow, sitting here, you probably hear the waterfall. Let me see. Can I split? Yeah, I can turn my camera around. Let me show you what I'm looking at while I'm sitting here in the front. Oh, there you go. Look at that. That's the koi pond. Yeah, just sitting here. That's what you hear. The water flowing. Sitting here and watching. Just got done feeding the koi. Let me turn this back around and bring it back over. Now, today's subject is very important. Today we're going to talk about adaptation. What happens if you don't adapt? Right now is the perfect time for businesses to adapt. There's no better time, actually, because you're being forced to. Well, let me tell you a little bit about history on how we see how businesses fail to adapt and what happened to them in the course of business. For example, Netflix. We all know the story of Netflix. Netflix came around when Blockbuster was the 800-pound gorilla in the industry, and they had something that was very unique. Instead of you having to take your CDs that you rented, the movies back into the store, you were able to order them you were able to order them and they were delivered to your home. Now, that is because Netflix was waiting. The technology for streaming was not available yet like we have today. But in the meantime, they saw a business and they saw adaptability for that business, and they were able to execute on it. Now, the CEO, I've heard that the CEO of Blockbuster actually went to the board and said, hey, listen, this is happening in the market and we need to make a change. And the board actually said no, because a little bit over 10, I believe it was 12% of their earnings came from the late fee. So they were not willing to adapt because they did not want to lose that 10-12%. Well, guess what? They ended up losing 100%. Because as far as I know, I don't think there are any more. Maybe there's one or two straggler Blockbuster movies out there, but I don't think there's any more. So anyhow, we saw how an outsider, and this is the key point here, how an outsider was able to see a shift and a change on an industry that already existed. The same thing happened with the computer industry. What does the computer industry have to do with music? Absolutely nothing, but they saw an advantage. They saw something that the music industry was not willing to see, because, and at the bottom, at the very top here, it says, you got to focus on who it is that you serve. The music industry was serving who? The record industry. They were serving the producers, the record industry. Yet the computer industry said, let's serve the people, the end user, the end buyer. And thus Steve Jobs created the iTunes. They said, let's focus on the user. And they were able to grow the digital music industry that we have today. Now, again, the same thing happened with the digital industry when they looked at the publishing industry. The publishing industry was serving the authors. They were not serving the end user, the clientele, the ones who were actually utilizing what they were producing. They said, no, let's focus on protecting the authors, let's focus on protecting the books. The digital industry said, yeah, we can still serve the authors, we can still protect their digital property, their intellectual property, but they serve it in a digital platform. And Amazon came in and started delivering the digital books. How come the publishing industry did not create the e-reader, the Kindle? It had to be Amazon that created it, because it was an outsider looking in. So if you happen to be in a business right now, look at the outsiders, look at the ones that are nipping at your toes, okay? Because those have a clear vision of where your industry is going. Sometimes we're so close to the problem that we cannot see a solution. And that is the key for this podcast today, is that you need to focus also not only on who it is that you end up, who you're serving, but also focus on those who are nibbling at your toes, because they have a vision that you may not have because you're too darn close to the problem. It happens to all of us. If we're so close to the problem that we cannot see variances and we cannot see other solutions. So focus on that. Look at who's nibbling at your toes. Change is coming. Change is inevitable. We're looking at that right now in the industry, in the world, and everything is changing. People are working from home that never worked from home. People are frustrated from working from home. I've been working from home for years, so it doesn't matter. We're used to this. Working from home, we actually go out to de-stress. Most people go out in their workplace is the distressful from the home to out. We love being home because this is our lifestyle. But take a look at those who are nibbling at your toes, because they have the change that is inevitable for your industry. If you don't adapt, you will change. If you try to protect your business, you're most likely to fail. Awesome. I want you to think about that. So my name is Ruben, and I wish you the best.